when we go through things in life, we don't think of what we learn from them. Most of the time, our reactions are, why did this have to happen to me? Why isn't it someone else? The thing that I learned over time, I have to allow change to help me grow. As I'd like to start with everything, it's always about the growth. Coming out, stepping out of that comfort zone of ours. And I always challenge myself. I like to do that. Today is a challenge for me as well. So, with that, write your name on that sticky note, and I'd like to invite you to think about one of 3 areas that you are closest to. Do you see yourself as proactive? Do you see yourself as courageous or self-aware? And you could be all 3, but I'd like you to think about the one that is closest to you, that you feel the most close with, and take that sticky note, get on it, and stick it right underneath that sign, and go. Proactive, courageous, or self-aware? There's some strips on the table. There we go. All right, I'm going to go back to your seat in 5, 4, 3. That's the educator in me. 2, 1.
It's your Mexico.
And 0. All right, great job for making it back to your seat. And again, that's the educator in me counting down, making sure everybody's back in time, because I am watching my timer as well. Today, our topic is, what is your growth plan? What is the first sound that comes out of you when you've been in an auto accident? How many of you have been in an auto accident? I was recently in an auto accident, totally my fault, and I hit the car in front of me. And I had no idea this sound was coming out of me, because this was my first. It wasn't pretty serious. It was kind of shocking serious. And I went, whoa! And it was like, who said that? Where's this coming from? I seriously had no idea what I was going to say, how I was going to react. But I did that anyway. The next thing I did was, after laughing at myself, my phone was on the floor. I was texting. I never do that. For the first time, I was actually excited about something. That's why I was texting. And I'm an auditory learner, so I listen for the traffic instead of watching it. Shouldn't do that. But the next reaction was, get out of my car. Let me check on the poor driver ahead of me. I did. She was okay. Her car actually was completely okay. The driver was fine. We drove away, but I kept thinking about my reaction. It was completely out of nowhere. I had no idea how I was going to react. I'm a self-reflector, so I started completely reflecting on my own self, how I handle things, what I do, how I deal with things. I don't know if you're an overthinker like me, but it goes on and on and on, and it kind of connects like a web, especially if you're a woman, But I kept thinking about my own reactions to things, and I also thought, did I make a lot of assumptions about myself? And I thought, wow, this accident that I got into just made me think really hard about the things I do. And everyday life, how I deal with things, people, family, relatives, work, and the assumptions I make on a daily basis. And a lot of times, I think I'm proactive, like Renee here. Taylor, I consider myself proactive. I like to pre-plan, I like to, I think of myself as courageous. I actually thought I was courageous back when I was 8 years old, I had done so many things in life that I thought, I have a lot of courage in. But I do make a lot of assumptions. I do. As I go through life, I do this, and I notice that people do the same thing. After a few experiences, just kidding, a lot of experiences of making a lot of mistakes at work, I finally realized instead of calling myself out as a failure, I should actually be open to change and embrace these failures that I'm making and learn from them. Think of them as lessons and work on myself. We do go through phases in life. We do grow. If we open up ourselves to actually learning from our failures, we grow. However, it doesn't mean we're stopped growing. There is more. There is always more. And these phases of growth, again, you have to be open to them in order to actually let them develop us. One thing that John Maxwell says is that a rubber band has one use, and its only use is to be stretched. Without stretching the rubber band, you think it'll hold those things? They'll probably fall apart. But I have to actually stretch the rubber band in order for it to start working. Same goes with us. We have to be able to stretch ourselves further in order for us to learn anything. So that's what I do. There's no practical use of rubber band unless it has been stretched. These are the lessons that I have learned throughout my journey. Continue exploring who you are. You're never done. Even if you think you've gotten to the point where you're doing so great, but you're never done. There's another phase in your life. Be open to growth. You can't assume just because you're growing older, you're actually getting wiser or getting more leadery, not a word. But you have to be open to growth and invest in the you today in order to be the better person that you want tomorrow or the next day. This is my growth plan. This is what I dedicated myself to do. I'm going to learn something new, and I am going to practice it. I'm going to put it right to work. I'm very good at that. And I'm going to fail at it, see how it works, try again. I'm also going to teach it. The best way to remember something is to actually teach it. And I'll tell you that from experience as a teacher. So life will throw many things in your way, like all these things I had you do, get up, put your name, give you the orange card. We didn't get to do the rubber bands, but all of these things are hassles. They could be thrown in your way, but don't veer off the direction of your own growth.